Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Pat Murphy read a letter, and the Brewers posted the Brewers posted a video of him reading a letter that he said was from Bob Uecker. And you kind of, it was like, okay, to me, I guess, because obviously there was stuff in the letter that obviously you couldn't know, right? Road record, home record, all that stuff. But I guess to me, I thought it was just kind of a generic, maybe something he had wrote, and then you've kind of fill in the blanks here. But I thought, the body of the work was written by Uecker, and it was just kind of saved for when the Brewers would make the postseason. But apparently it wasn't. Apparently it was Pat Murphy who wrote it. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how. I mean, because I really thought it was mostly from Uecker with fill in the blanks here, and come to find out it wasn't. I'm a little. Well, first of all, it takes away from the moment, I think, a little bit. I think it's a little bit misleading. And apparently Pat Murphy was on WTMJ this morning. This is from our friend Dominic, who we just had on, host for the Brewers pre- and post-game show just a few minutes ago, said that the letter to the team from Uecker, quote, "I just thought it was a great tribute to Bob. He's been at the forefront of our minds. It was an opportunity to honor him and connecting the players to Brewers history in the city of Milwaukee. I can be honest and say the guys were moved by Ueck. Here's his Hall of Famer treating us like he's one of us and coming in every day at his age and just giving us the energy, his life, and his stories. If you lived it, it's special." I still don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, because the Brewers yesterday obviously thought, a lot of people think it's real because they sent along some clarification that, no, it wasn't a letter. It was written by Pat Murphy in essentially a Bob Uecker style. How do you feel about that, Brewers fans? Does it bother you? Maybe you're just like, whatever. Do you still think it's pretty cool that, Pat Murphy's trying to include Uecker into this? What are your thoughts? I really don't know how I feel anymore about it. So you can let me know on that. Hit me up, text or tweet with it and such. So Zach says, I've been dealing with a high ankle sprain since May. That's my grind my gears for the day. Jeez. That's what J.J. McCarthy's dealing with right now. It's going to keep him out for just 2 to 4 weeks, dude. Staying with the Brewers, though. So we got Freddie Peralta back on the mound tonight. He's looking for his 17th wins. Probably he's only got 2 more starts, a couple more starts here for the rest of the regular season, then getting set for the postseason here. So he won't hit that 20-win mark that we kind of threw out there a few weeks ago. It was going to be tough to begin with, but he won't get that. All things go, maybe he gets up to 18, possibly. So, but he's sitting there at 16-6, a 2.69 ERA. Looking for a little bit of a bounce-back game for Freddie Peralta because his last start was back on the 10th against the Texas Rangers, where he picked up a loss. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, did have 9 strikeouts. But there was 5 earned runs. And the game before that is when he had 5 innings going up against Philly. It was really good. 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. But it's Freddie Peralta in a nutshell. High pitch counts, not going deep into games. For anybody thinking, man, it'd be nice if we could figure it out for the post, it's not going to happen. We may have a game, whether it's tonight or another one regular season or in the postseason. We may have a game where Freddie's maybe just dealing and he goes 7 innings and his pitch count is 80s or whatever. That's the exception, not the norm. Maybe that's something Freddie can figure out as his career continues to evolve and continues to move on and such, but this is Freddie Peralta. You're going to get a high pitch count and you're going to get about between 5 and 6 innings. And that's why whenever Freddie Peralta is on the mound for the Brewers, you always have to be ready to utilize your bullpen. You got to make sure you got arms ready to go in the bullpen. You can kind of already forecast. You can already game plan it, right? You can already know, like, okay, Freddie's on the mound. Let's make sure we got so-and-so ready in the bullpen. And obviously some of it's going to count or depend on pitching stuff and pitching matchups and that, but you can kind of count on, like, you're going to need some guys coming out of the pen whenever Freddie Peralta's out there. If you don't, and it's one of those rare games where maybe he goes 7 or 8, hey, now you're playing with house money. But I would imagine the plan is that you're going to have to get a couple dudes ready and make sure they're ready in the bullpen here. But outside of staying healthy, because we just want to make sure in these final couple starts here for Freddie Peralta that the guy is going to be healthy heading into the postseason. He is their number one starter. He will get the ball game 1 if everything works out. That's the man. And you just hope that he could get through, knock on wood, that we're not jinxing anything here, just knock on wood here, that we're good. Nothing will happen. But you look at this matchup here, and obviously it's an uncommon opponent between the National League and the American League. Freddie's got a little bit of experience with some of these hitters, not a ton. I mean, a couple guys like Taylor and Makata have a couple games worth against him. Trout's got a game's worth against him. 2 ABs, and he's hitting perfect. But nothing really to write home about. And then on the flip side, you've got a guy who's been up and down, spent a lot of time in the minor leagues this year. Caden Dana going for the Angels. Youngster, 21 years old. Big guy, 6'4", 200 plus. He's coming off of a loss against the Twins where he went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs. Before that, though, no decision against Kansas City back in the third. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. The thing that makes me nervous about going up against teams like the Angels now who are eliminated in these final few couple weeks are these teams that, like, all right, we got nothing to play for. Just go out there and have some fun. Let's play a little loose. Let's end the season on a high note. Let's just have some fun. A lot of times those are the most dangerous teams. Because they're playing with house money. I mean, they got nothing to play for a postseason, so there's no pressure on their shoulders. They're just going out there playing loose. Maybe for some guys, they're like, hey, I don't know where I'm going to be next year, so let's end this thing on a good note. That's what makes me nervous going up against teams like the Angels. Now, that's not every team that's out of a playoff contention. Some may just be like, let's get this thing over with. It's a long, grueling season. It's 162 dang games. I just want this done. I don't care how we do. And they may just, like, say, screw it, and just try to get through it, and they play awful baseball. I think if you're the Brewers, you have to continue doing what you've done all season and following that mindset that your manager, Pat Murphy, has. And that's game-by-game approach, focusing on the now, focusing on the game in front of you. Not focusing on the Padres next week. Not focusing on the Cardinals or the Reds that are still coming up. Not focusing on how the standings are playing out, whether the Phillies are losing or whether the Cubs are losing. You need to focus on what's in front of you. And that's still an advantage that the Brewers have right now. Even though the lead has been trimmed in the National League and a little bit in the division, the Brewers are still in the driver's seat. And when you're entering the final couple weeks of the regular season, this is what every team wants to be in, this position, where you control your destiny. You control it. Not another team, not the results of a couple other teams. You yourself control the destiny of your own fate, of your own squad, of where you want to go, of how you want to finish this thing. If your goals are division championship and the 1 seed in the National League, you control it. You want those 2 things? Go get it. I don't know how some of these guys are going to kind of, play down the stretch. Are some guys going to press a little bit? Maybe some of the youngsters. Is the pressure going to get to some of these guys because they haven't kind of been in this experience before? Yes, some of them have gone to the playoffs the last couple of years, but last year, the division was was wrapped up and such. It was a little bit easier. Now you're talking about competing for that one spot, and the Cubs still on your trail for that division. Does that pressure get to some of these guys? Where are the leaders? How do the leaders like a Christian Yelich and a Brandon Woodruff and a Freddie Peralta and a Contreras kind of step in and lead this group? Because remember, last year it was Willy Adames, right? You got fun-loving Willy Adames being the leader of this team, keeping the clubhouse loose. And we've talked about, not just from a talent perspective, but from what he provides from a leadership role, how much that would be missed within the clubhouse. So now it's on the onus of the Yeliches, the Contrerases, the Peraltas, the Woodruffs. Lead this team in these final 12 games. Lead the youngsters who have not been in this position much before. It is on you. It is on you to help lead this ball club to finish with a division championship and potentially that top seed. If those are the main goals, which I don't know why division wouldn't be, but maybe 1 seed or 2 seed. I would imagine 1 seed's still a goal here, still something to play for. But I'm looking for those veteran leaders to help get this team across the finish line of the regular season and into the postseason playing some really good baseball. Because not only do I personally want to see the Brewers get that division and get the 1 seed, I want to see them get into the postseason playing really good baseball and riding that momentum, riding that wave. How many times have we seen in Major League Baseball in the playoffs, it's the team that's playing really good baseball that has that momentum, that hot team, and they make a deep run. I want that for the Brewers too. And hopefully that means because they have to yet wrap up this division and potentially the 1 seed, hopefully that in turn means a bunch of wins and in turn means that they're going to be playing with some momentum heading into the postseason. I hope so. But how important is that 1 seed overall to the Brewers? I think it's fairly important. I'll explain. Who are the most important, top 5 most important critical Brewers players for these final 12 games? Who you think that are going to be critical for the Brewers to finish this thing in first place? I'll get to that here in just a sec. My top 5. I'll get to that here in just a sec. But to the topic of how important is home field advantage throughout the whole thing. This debate about, well, is the 1 seed that much better than the 2 seed? I think when you look at how, let's take a look at how the standings are. Home and away records, okay? That may give us a little bit of a glimpse here. And it gives us a little glimpse why I still think having the number 1 overall seed would be a big benefit for the Brewers. It doesn't guarantee anything by any means, but to me it would still be a big benefit. And when I see this, breaking it down just from the National League side of things, so assuming it's between the Brewers and the Phillies right now for 1 or 2. Brewers away record, they're 10 games above 500. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. I mean, when you look at it from the National League, that's the best in the National League. Okay? The next highest is you got the Cubs at 40 and 35. Okay, so I mean, the Brewers have a very solid road record. And when you look at it across Major League Baseball, if you include the AL, the Brewers have the most wins on the road. So yes, they play well on the road. I'll give them that. However, when you look at Brewers' home record, 48 and 27, and if we're looking at the Phillies, just kind of comparing these two teams in that battle for that 1 spot, the team that has the most wins at home this year in all of Major League Baseball is the Philadelphia Phillies. They're 51 and 24. I don't want to have to go to their house if I don't have to. I don't want to go to their park if I don't have to in the postseason, okay? So if I could avoid that as a team, I'm trying to do that. And to add on to that, Philly's road record is just 39-37. You're talking about 51 wins at home compared to 39 wins on the road. Is it the tell-all number or stat? Does it explain that? No. Does it guarantee anything? Absolutely not. But when I look at that stuff and I got to take the lesser of two evils, I'm like, give me home so I don't have to go to the home of the Philadelphia Phillies, the best team, or the team with the best record at home in all of Major League Baseball. Granted, the Brewers have the best road record in all of Major League Baseball, but when it gets to like October and the postseason and that, the atmosphere just gets a little bit more electric. Whether you've been to a postseason baseball game or not, if you have been, you know what I'm talking about. Those environments are awesome. But you can even tell the difference if you're listening or watching. It gives you like an added extra element. And I want that more times in Milwaukee than elsewhere. I want it in Milwaukee, okay? Now I know there's probably going to be people saying, oh, you got to get there first before you even, don't count your chickens before they hatch or eggs before they hatch, whatever the phrase says. But I am looking at it long term. I'm a fan. I can do that. Players, no. Team-wise, no. You can't do that. Don't do that. But that's why I'm at like a 7 or an 8. I'm at like a 7 or an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, why I think it's that important for the Brewers to get home field throughout. And, of course, winning the division is the utmost important. Easily the most important one. But I feel like that one, they're going to be able to take care of business. Looking at magic numbers, in case you're wondering, it's still 10 for the top spot in the National League for the Brewers, 8 for the second one, 4 if you want to really fall down and get at least the 4 seed in the wild card. But yeah, there you have it. And it looks like, this is the wild thing in this whole thing is like the Phillies are either going to be a 1 or 2 seed, it looks like. So, and just the way Phillies, I'm trying to find any advantage I can for a possible Brewers and Phillies matchup, and the way Philadelphia's playing right now, it's just, I don't want to face that. So, go Dodgers, all right? How about the Crew tonight by getting a win, okay? Phillies only, they were 38-37 heading into that game last night on the road. Make them 39-38 tonight, okay, Dodgers? Can you help us out a little bit? Just throwing it out there. My 5 most important Brewers for these final 12 games. There's no right or wrong answer in this thing. Whatever player you throw out there that's currently played for the Brewers, you can make a case for. But these are my 5. I'm going to start it off with Yelich. The leader of this team. You look at the production he has done from a power standpoint. He's nearing a 30-100 season. For all the talk about once you get to the postseason, you need to have a little power. You need to have a little bit of a home run ball. You need that in order to advance throughout the postseason. You look at Yelich. He's sitting at 28 home runs, 96 RBIs. 2 home runs away from hitting 30, 4 RBIs away from hitting the 100 RBI mark. He is the run producer. He is the power bat in this lineup that has been the most consistent throughout this season. He is the guy as the leader of this team, but also the power guy that I think absolutely belongs in that top 5 list of one of the most important players, most crucial players to help lead this team into the postseason, to finish this regular season strong. And on top of it, too, he hasn't been playing that well as of late, if you look at some of the numbers. Last 29 at-bats, just 172, 226 on base, and just slugging 310. Need some better production from that. Need a little bit better production from that. Let's not kid ourselves. And this is a guy, we have seen all over the lineup, too, which is, for a guy who's kind of been your power dude and approaching a 3,100, he's been in the 2 spot, he's been in the 3 spot, he's been in the 4 spot, and recently he's been in the 5 spot. But for multiple different reasons, Christian Yelich easily should be a top 5 player, in my opinion, as most crucial, most important players for this stretch run to get the Brewers to where they want to be. Right behind him, I'd put Jackson Chourio for a lot of the same reasons that we said about Christian Yelich. If it's not Christian Yelich as the power guy, it's Jackson Chourio. You look at what he has done, and he missed a lot of time too. So, I know some people are probably going to say, well, he didn't get his 30 for 30 season. He is on approach for another 20-20. He's got the 20 home runs. He just has 18 stolen bases so far. But you also look at what has he done for me lately. His last 7 games, he's hitting .357 and slugging .643. If you want to go back to his last 119 at-bats, he's hitting .345. Again, it goes back to, if you believe offense is the key, is one of the biggest keys when it comes to the postseason. It's a debate. You hear it's pitching, it's bullpen, and it's like, no, you need the home run ball in order to win series in the playoffs. Jackson Chourio can be a contributor to that. Jackson Chourio needs to continue to be a threat to play. Remember last year, the postseason, dude was riding hot. I mean, he was playing some really fantastic baseball. And it's like, postseason, youngster, how is he going to handle the spotlight? Seemed like he did fairly well. Need his production at the plate. And then also to tag along with that, I'm going to go Bryce Terang. You can't ignore what Bryce Terang did in the month of August from an offensive standpoint. National League Player of the Month in the month of August. He's up to 18 home runs. He's been getting time as that 3-hitter. His month of August was in fuego. It was hot. He finished hitting .343, slugging .694, and 10 dingers. September, still hitting .283. Slugging's down, though. Only has 2 home runs. What's wrong with him? But if you break it out a little bit, in his last 7 games, it's not quite the benchmark that we have been seeing from him these last, month and a half or so. But what Bryce Terang has been able to provide this team, the power that he has been able to provide this team, and that offensive production, that's going to be incredibly important heading into the postseason. And right now, you look at the last 7 games, just hitting 200 and slugging 300. If he could be that guy at the plate that we saw in August, boy, what a boost for that lineup. Next up on my list, I'm going to go Aaron Ashby. Now, before you roll your eyes, be like, Aaron Ashby, what the heck are you talking about, man? I don't know Quintana's status going into the postseason. Even if he's got, if he's cleared and such, is he going to get a spotting start in that 4-man rotation? Just it's kind of on the brink maybe between him and Mizorowski and that. But and of course he's banged up right now too. I think we're going to find out more today. But I look at Aaron Ashby as a guy that does so many different things where, okay, if Quintana's not in that lineup, maybe Aaron Ashby's your initial outfielder. He could give you a spot starts. If Quintana's going to go on the IL for these last 12 games, Aaron Ashby could give you a spot start, could go 3 innings. He could provide you some long relief out of the bullpen. He could get you some high leverage innings at the back end. Aaron Ashby is, to me, an intriguing weapon, tool, Swiss Army knife, however you want to phrase it, for this bullpen, for this team in these final 12 games and into the postseason, because he can do different things for you. He's got the starting experience. He could go a little bit of a distance. He can pitch in high leverage situations coming out of the pen. And if he's on, when he's on, he is a really good pitcher. And he may be called upon more, especially if the Brewers kind of want to set up their starting rotation and maybe go an extra off day here and there. Aaron Ashby might be called upon to help fill some of those gaps. So that's why I got Aaron Ashby as a key player in here. And then finally, I got Brandon Woodruff. Because this is why you signed Brandon Woodruff when you knew you were going to miss the full year with him, the first full year of his recovery. And you knew it wasn't a guarantee he was going to be back to Brandon Woodruff. And you didn't quite know when he would make his return in year 2. But this is why you signed him, to keep him around, is for moments right now. To finish this season strong and to rely on him when it comes to the postseason. This is the moment. When you go back to almost 2 years ago, when the Brewers decided to keep him around after suffering that major shoulder injury that could have ended his career. Brewers said, we're going to give you a 2-year deal. You stay here the first year, help you rehab, and then let's focus on year 2. Here we are with a first-place team in the division and a first-place team in the National League. This is why they kept Brandon Woodruff back. Or this is why they kept Brandon Woodruff around. For moments like this. And you look at what Brandon Woodruff has done this season, I think has exceeded expectations. I didn't know what to expect from Brandon Woodruff this year. And he came on strong. And this year in 11 games, he's 6-2 with a 3.32 ERA. He's coming off of his latest game on the 6th. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts against Pittsburgh. He struggled against Toronto beforehand, 4 1/3, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. But for the most part, Brandon Woodruff has been a solid pitcher. Now you factor in he's a veteran. He's one of the leaders of this team. He has immense respect throughout that clubhouse. He could be a guy that can help lead this team to where they want to go. Yeah, you got Freddie. You've got, you could say the Miz because kind of the up and down there. Quinn Priester, a little bit unknown yet, but a fantastic season. You could say all of those guys, and I would disagree with you. But for me, a key is going to be Brandon Woodruff. Remember what Christian Yelich said about him a couple months ago. That's the guy I want on the mound. If I have to go into a game and win a game, I want Brandon Woodruff. That guy has pitched in some big moments already throughout his career. And I think he's going to be key for not only these final 12 games, for how many starts he gets left, but also into the postseason.